Hello everyone and welcome back to ArcheAge Inspiration. Today's rolls are 8, 9, and 10, and I think I actually know what we already have. I think that's the Ranger. Archery, Shadowplay, Vitalism. Yep. I'm familiar with this combo. I've theory crafted a few different builds with this particular setup, and I'll see again what I can come up with. Ranger. So one of the things I've been doing with this series, of course, is taking these different combinations and really trying to stretch them and see exactly what all I can pull out of them. Creativity is really important in this game, but sometimes there are tried and true formulas that really should be respected or at least acknowledged and maybe only deviated from slightly. So that's kind of what I tried to do here with the Ranger. This sort of archery shadow play package is fairly close to what you usually see for the average primeval build or stone arrow build. I mean, sometimes they'll take archery expertise, which is good for extra cooldowns. Missile rain is an option. You could get overwhelmed shadow smite if people get close to you. That's an option, maybe not necessary. What we are missing is the two really nice sort of pairs that go very well with archery and shadow play. Oromancy is really good. It gives you a little bit of extra CC by means of Leech the Sleep. You get Stun Break. You get 24% attack speed boost, which is huge. Very, very massive for your damage output. Just the general utility of the extra Blink that you'll get. More mobility, as though the primeval needed to be more mobile. And then the Stone Arrow provides just a solid base for extra tankiness, sacrificing a little bit of the mobility and damage that you get from a primeval and moving the build a little bit more focused towards group play while still being able to defend itself if they get singled out. And the Ranger is sort of the third extension of that, in my opinion. You can keep your standard damage package from archery and shadow play. You're still going to want to gear like a Ranger would, or like a primeval would. Dual wielding, possibly with a healing club, actually probably with a healing club in this case, and then offhand a dagger or something. Whatever type of weapon you want to offhand. And then, getting the standard stuff. I did deviate slightly just to make it interesting, because that's the point of this series, but nothing too outlandish. So we picked up the standard healing package, Antithesis, Mirror Light, Resurgence, and Fervent Healing. These are sort of the bread and butter go-to heals. I was kind of tempted to pick up Mend, but I think its mana cost is a little too prohibitive. If you're playing in a really, really large group where Mend would be even more useful, then you could possibly get it. Mana is, in general, probably going to be a pretty big issue. A lot of these healing spells are pretty mana intensive. I mean, a good chunk of your damage is going to, your damage is going to come at a reasonable mana cost, with the exception of like Concussive Arrow. It's pretty pricey. So mana efficiency was a little bit of an issue, so I decided to take Aranzib's Boon. Gives you a small boost to intelligence and spirit. It's not a ton, but I think it's worth it. I mean, if anything, you'll be able to buff your group with it, which is always nice. And then just as a test here, I wanted to take Painful Recharge. Any odd damage that you get in a group PvP situation will help to ensure that in a long fight you'll be getting a lot of mana. So a few options for if you're going to be getting into a long-term skirmish between Mend and Painful Recharge. Between Painful Recharge and Aranzib's Boon, with the option of taking Mend if you think mana will be less of an issue and you want to be more group heal focused. Another choice that I made was Skewer. This is kind of a anti-rush mechanic. If somebody is coming into your front lines and is currently meleeing somebody and keeping them stun locked, a range stun may go a long way to help. You could also, of course, use Concussive Arrow. So this is an option. Doesn't have to be taken, but I figure if I'm going to deviate a little bit, I might as well deviate even more. So that's really all I had to say today, actually. I think this episode's going to be a little shorter because, this is sort of the tried and true formula for archery, and there's nothing I can really show off with Vitalism. There are no new combos that really open up, although it should be said that Mirror Light is kind of interesting because it does snare and then increase the damage the target takes and reduce the healing effectiveness, just like Stalker's Mark does. So there are two things that do stack and do severely hamper a target. So if focus firing is needed, don't hesitate to use Mirror Light and Stalker's Mark together on a target that's coming after you. So this build gets a little bit more in terms of like anti-tankage. So if a Skull Knight or another PvP tank gets into your midst, you can help the focus fire by casting Mirror Light and Stalker's Mark on them to ensure that they do all that sort of stuff. So that's really all I have to say. about this build. I hope you guys garnered a little bit of info from this. Hopefully next time we'll get something that I can actually go out and show in a more applicable sense, but nothing really to show here. Standard archery stuff. I think this stuff's pretty well known, and then a little bit of a healing package to help your group. So yeah, I guess we'll see you next time.